If you're a parent, you will not want to miss this next segment. Dr. Sanjay Gupta is back with the third installment of his special series investigating the roots of the vaping epidemic. And today he's taking a more personal look along with his 3 daughters. Dr. Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent, joins us now. This sounds very personal, Sanjay.
You know, look, it's topic conversation number 1 when I get together with other parents lately. Vaping, what exactly is going on, how at risk are my kids? So, you know, it's interesting. We talk a lot about these things as reporters. I wanted to talk to my own kids, get a little bit of their insights as well. And it's amazing, if you stop and listen, what you can learn.
All across the country, parents are starting to have tough but necessary conversations about vaping.
Thanks for being here.
I decided to learn from my own kids and their friends.
How would you describe the vaping situation in your school?
It got kind of bad last year. Some people did it too much, like a lot too much, and it escalated, I think.
Last year, she was in 8th grade. This year, early results from the CDC's annual survey of tobacco use found 27.5% of high school kids admit to vaping.
You're in high school, you're a senior in high school. Does that sound like the right number to you? Does it sound too high? Does it sound too low?
Probably sounds too low.
Really?
I think it's pretty common, and even though not everyone owns them, people will still probably use them.
What did you think was in these vapes, Soleil?
I thought it's just a lot of chemicals, and some chemicals can damage you.
Are you comfortable with this conversation?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm only 10.
Any age too young to be having this conversation?
I don't think it's ever too young.
I have a 10-year-old.
You know, I would have the conversation. So this is where the magic happens.
Dr. Laura Offit knows a thing or two about young people. She answers their health questions on her site, Real Talk with Dr. Offit.
In the early 2010s, when this started to become popular with young people, there was less concern because in the whole spectrum of risk-taking behavior that young people can take, maybe this one isn't a bad one.
Despite youth cigarette use dropping significantly since 2011, vaping's skyrocketing popularity has erased a lot of the recent progress. Today, the CDC estimates that over 3.5 million teens are vaping, and that number is climbing.
The nicotine level in recent products, recent e-cigarette products, is extremely high and very addictive.
Ann Schuckett is Principal Deputy Director of the CDC.
The nicotine salts that are used in the more recent generations of e-cigarettes make the product very palatable and easy to enjoy. And so we think that addictive products are addictive.
Then you take one of the most addictive chemical substances on the planet and marry it with social media.
It just is keeps being brought up again in social media. And so I think that it's kind of hard not to hear about it.
Instagram, YouTube, #Juul. Juul said it has taken actions to prevent youth vaping, like scaling back its social media accounts, platforms that critics say had particular appeal among teenagers.
It's been very well documented that e-cigarette companies have been using the playbook of the tobacco companies from the 60s and 70s, and even earlier on, starting with the health message, appealing to interest in being sexually appealing, to being strong, to being part of a group, to being trendy, to being a little bit of a rebel. So that whole type of identity piece has been pulled into advertising for these products.
I want to show you guys some pictures. Sky, why don't you read that last one?
Weak people smoke, strong people smoke less. Intelligent people vape.
What do you think they were trying to convey there, Audrey?
They're trying to say that vaping's a smarter version of smoking, and that if you want to be smarter, stop smoking and vape.
And what do you think of that?
I think that's still kind of dumb.
I feel like it's a tough hill to climb as a parent. I mean, I'm going up against peer pressure, feelings of being in the in-group and feeling cool, social media advertising where kids live.
I think that one thing that is really challenging as a parent is we all fear for our kids because that's what our job is, to protect our children. But sometimes if we let our fear come to the surface, we inadvertently close the door on our kids coming to us when they need something.
What would I tell you
to make sure you never do this?
I think you should scare people out of it.
You think scaring works?
Yes.
Is that why you wouldn't do it?
Yes.
Is that the same for you, Colin?
Yes.
Sky?
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes if you just say like, you'll be a lot happier if you don't do this, but saying what you should do.
It's a good point, telling kids not just what they shouldn't do, but what they should do instead.
It's already a challenge to win any risk assessment with a young person based on safety, especially long-term safety. That's always been a challenge. I think sometimes appealing to things that can affect them now can be more powerful.
These people who are using it, do you think they think it's dangerous?
People in the more recent time have started to really think it's dangerous because I know a lot of people like seeing videos of people throwing them out windows now.
A social media movement in the right direction.
So, Allison and John, as much as we talk about some of the concerns about social media, you see that it can be a powerful force for good as well. And, you know, some of these changes that we're talking about, some of these changes that we want in our kids, sometimes they're the ones who are going to lead the way. And I think that what we're seeing now on social media kind of makes that point.
Thank you for sharing all of that
Thank you.
with us and for staying
You got
on
it.
this important topic.